this episode, I'm gonna make a cranberry orange pound cake. And if you've watched some of my earlier videos, I talk about the fact that I don't really love to cook at all. And so that's why I try to find really easy, simple recipes that are delicious. But when it comes to baking, I don't mind putting in a little extra effort because let's face it, it's sweet and yummy and delicious every time. So for today, I'm gonna do something that's a little bit more, not complicated, but a few more steps, but I think it's gonna be worth it. I love the cranberry orange muffins at Panera Bread, so I found this recipe and I'm anxious to try it. And I'm going to start by talking about the cranberries. We don't have any fresh cranberries in our grocery store right now, so I just got frozen ones and I let them thaw for a little bit and then they'll be good to go. We'll start by spraying our pan with some cooking oil. And then I'm going to sprinkle some sugar into the bottom of the pan. You don't want to let it clump up, but just kind of think about when you flour a pan, just getting a nice little layer of sugar in there. So it kind of dissolves. And then I'm going to put 1/4 cup of my cranberries in the bottom of my pan, and I'm just going to kind of move them around so they're spread out because we're going to be pouring our batter on top of that. That'll just make it really pretty on top. And then we will set that aside for later. Oops, but try not to move them around. And then in a bowl, I put 1.5 cups of flour and what else did I put in there? 2 teaspoons of baking powder and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then I'm gonna set that aside for later. Now we're ready to cream together some butter and some sugar, the best part. But really before we start with that, I want to zest an orange because we're gonna use this later. This is what makes this different from most of the baking I do. I'm willing to zest this orange because that's how much I like to bake. It's really not that difficult though. Just take a small grater, which I have, and a paper plate, and you're just going to grate the very edge of your orange. You just want to take off that nice orange color and leave it so it's just kind of that soft yellow underneath. When you're done zesting it, this is what it'll look like, about that much. And then your orange is gonna look like this. You wanna make sure you don't go too far down into the orange or it'll be bitter. You just wanna get that top layer off, and I'm not real great at it, as you can see, so there's lots of places I missed. You could go back and get those if you want to, but this is close enough, it's great. So when you're done zesting, then you're going to cut your orange in half. And I'm gonna go ahead and juice this and just use the juice from the orange I just zested. We'll use every part of the orange. That looks good. We'll put this aside, use it in the next step. All right, our next step is to cream our butter and our sugar. It takes 1/2 cup of butter, which is 1 stick. And 1 cup of sugar. You could use a hand mixer, but I have this great KitchenAid. 3rd best birthday present ever. And we're just gonna cream this together until it's a nice lemony yellow color. All right, my butter and my sugar are nice and creamed together. I like to just give the bowl a quick scrape. And then we're gonna incorporate our eggs one at a time. I like to stop the mixer to do this because I'm not really great at cracking eggs. But if you're good at it, you can just keep it spinning. And now we're gonna add our zest of our orange. Our orange juice that we squeezed. and a cup of sour cream. And then we'll mix that together. That's nice and incorporated. And we're ready for the last step, and that's to do our flour, salt, and baking powder mixture. So really, it's not that hard. Again, if I can do it, anybody can do it. So we'll get our mixture. I'm gonna do about half of it at a time just to get it mixed in, and remember to start your mixer on low because sometimes I forget and the flour goes flying. And in goes the rest. All right, we have a nice thick batter. I'm gonna take my paddle off and just get all the good stuff off of that. And then we're gonna add a cup and 1/4 of our cranberries, and we're gonna fold those in. It smells delicious already. We're gonna pour it into our dish that has the sugar and the cranberries already at the bottom. I'm gonna bake mine in a loaf pan, but you could also do it in a bundt pan. I don't have a bundt pan, so that's why we're going with the loaf pan. All in all, it really doesn't take too long to prepare it. It's gonna bake in the oven at 350 for about 50 minutes. Just keep your eye on it and check it. When your tester comes out clean, you know it's ready. The cake is done. It cooked about 56, 57 minutes, a little bit longer than I thought. I checked it at 50 minutes, wasn't done. Another 5 minutes, checked it again, and then just gave it another few minutes after that. So while it cools, I'm gonna make a glaze icing. So I put about a cup of powdered sugar. And then I'm gonna put in a tablespoon, between 1 and 3 tablespoons of milk into the glaze until it comes to a consistency that I like. I'm gonna start with 2. We'll go from there. And then I'm just gonna whisk that together. Perfect. Hit it right the first time. All right, since this is just a glaze, I'm just gonna kind of pour it over, see what happens. Oh yeah, that's gonna be good. Let it run down the sides. And that is going to be delicious. The sweet of the orange and the frosting just goes great with the tartness of the cranberries. That's what I love about this combination. And around the holidays when they have fresh cranberries, it's going to be even better. So I hope you enjoy this recipe. Thanks for watching today's episode. Please subscribe and consider giving us a thumbs up. And don't forget, the ingredients are always listed in the comments below. Check back tomorrow for more Close Enough cooking.